Ears, big ears. I'm like, what's in there?
Clotilda, Ivona,
Give me more.
Masha.
We speak Romanian like same dialect or we have some changes.
Just accent.
Just
Yeah. They have a bit of an accent, more Russian.
Okay, hello everybody, welcome to the show. Everybody online, can you guys hear us?
Hey guys.
Yeah, can you guys hear us? Nick, Emily, Diego, Oleg? If you guys can hear us, maybe just turn on your mic and let us know you could.
Want to put something in the chat or something? Yeah, there we go. Thanks, Emily.
Is this your volume?
Yeah, I can do it on that. All right, Emily. So welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So what did we learn?
Mindset.
Mindset. So are there different kinds of mindsets?
Mindset and based mindset.
Yeah. And so what's the difference between both? What's the difference between both?
One is different to learn, another one is not.
Yeah, failure is an opportunity to grow. Versus this is the end of my life. I failed at something, right? So almost your attitude. Almost your attitude is important, right? What else is going on in there? In all of these, right? So much goes on in there. So much goes on in there. Do challenges help you grow, or do they stand in your way so that you don't get to where you want to get to?
Depends on the.
That's right. So which one do you think? Which one do you think? Right? So we played with all of that last week. How many of you took the time to see what goes on in here? Yeah? What did we discover? What did we discover? You talk too much? Well, you know what? I just want to let you know it's very normal. And so to stop the chatter, we do something called meditation.
That's the only time I go out. As long as you don't stop. Coming back to it.
Wait, c'est une voix constante. So what did you guys do? What did you guys discover in your brain?
I discovered that I used to think too much and put too much importance on things that are not really important, and too much importance created with fear and feeling of uncomfortable.
Too much importance created a fear.
Yeah.
It's huge. Who's going to write that down? Too much importance to something is going to create fear.
How do you get over it?
That's not a problem.
With me, I'm like you,
She's not like that anymore.
and I'm aware of it. It's been a while. But how you get out of it?
So why is something important to you?
For example,
for example, before making a call,
Yeah,
the stress is still here.
why?
I feel uncomfortable.
Why?
I don't know.
Sure you do. Of course you do. You don't want to be rejected. Nobody wants to be rejected. Nobody wants to make a mistake. Right? So we avoid pain.
Like I'm programmed because I tell myself I've never done sales because I've always
Yeah.
I've worked in engineering all my life, so I'm behind the screen, right?
Yeah.
With numbers, and so it's new. And at the beginning, I was like, with the boot camp, it's so intense that you just do it. But once you're active
On your own.
this is where like,
So then you can start thinking another way. Say, what's the worst thing that could happen? What's the worst thing that can happen?
Shout, they reject you.
They shout, they scream, what else? They reject you, what else? Huh?
they're nice and they just say no.
They're nice and they just say no. What else is the worst thing that could happen? They what? They block you. Yeah, that's worse than hanging up. You try to call back again, hello? This number has blocked you. What else could happen that's so bad?
They reverse search your number, then end up stalking, following, and killing you.
Oh my God.
All this for one call? We know where his mindset is. So you put so much importance in their rejection. Have you ever rejected anybody without noticing that you did?
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Right? How do you think it makes the other person feel?
And I thought about that too, but so makes me, I'm like, it's nothing bad, when you say, je vais vous arrêter là, j'ai pas besoin de service, it's fine,
So I don't want to get into it, but we're going to get into it. This is called a refractory period. A refractory, REFRACTORY, refractory period. Refractory. Je vais te l'expliquer. Donc, je vais l'expliquer. Ça va être plus simple que le faire. Your refractory period is how quickly can you get over something?
That's when you haven't done it. So quick.
How quickly can you get over rejection? How quickly can you get over sadness? How quickly can you get over regret? How quickly can you move on? Right? So what is your level of what is your refractory period? Some people that have experience over the phone, I just got rejected. Okay, thanks, bye. Right? Vanessa?
Also using this without saying.
Right? Because you learned the skill of having short refractory period. I move on quickly.
Mine's 3 to 5 business days.
Imagine holding on to it. How heavy is your school bag? Holding on to it for 3 to 5 business days. La personne m'a dit non au téléphone. Qu'est-ce que je fais?
I don't have enough, so in 4 or 5 minutes. No, I have something.
So what is your refractory period? If it's really long, do you think you have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset?
All that.
You let things get to you.
But you know what happens is like, because you're here, so you don't do much. And then you're like, okay, shit, I came to work and I didn't get nothing close to 30 calls. So like, and then the next day,
Yeah.
so everything.
So I have a
So
solution.
other-
I have a very simple solution for you. Guys, whenever you see Carol, who's here at the office, you tell her, go back on the phone. Yes. That's why we're here, guys. Are we here to socialize and party?
No, I'm the same, like, I was in engineering monitors and myself. So I'm like, I see people in vegetarian, just coffee, I was a developer. So that's why for me, the calls is the same. I see myself the same as Carl. Yeah.
So whenever you see Svetlana, you tell her, get back on the phone. Why? Because that's a productive activity. Right? I promise you, no one's going to buy a house from you here. No one in this room is going to buy a home from you. Okay? So you're talking to all the wrong people if you want to be productive. But if you want to learn something like shortening your refractory period, you can speak to Vanessa. If you want to learn how to not be fearful over the phone, you speak to Alina. You see, we're all here for a different reason, but no one's going to buy a house from you. That's 100% sure. Right? So how can you put less importance to something you think is important? A yes for you is so important. Why? Because it means you can go present. Why is that so important? Because then you can list a property. Why is that so important? Because then you could sell it. And why is that so important? Because that will give you value. It'll say, yes, I'm in the right industry. J'ai fait un bon move. That's why it's so scary picking up the phone. And everyone here lives it. Anybody who's been sales before lives it.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. If somebody says no, is that a big deal?
No.
Yes, to you it is. And you have to just respect it. So how important is the no? If that person says no and that person says no instead, it's called statistics. The next person will say yes. Are you okay with that? That it's all about numbers, right?
Like, I think I didn't convince myself that it's a numbers game.
Mhm.
yet.
Because you haven't practiced enough.
Yeah.
So every time you see Carol at the office, you get her to what? Go pick up the phone, go make some phone calls, right? It's just practice. It's just practice. Is that okay to all of you? That if you're not good at something, all you have to do is practice? So what keeps us from practicing? Fear. What else?
Boring.
Boring. What else? Say it. I know you're going to say it. Yes.
So focus that I am not comfortable. I cannot pick up the phone. I will be rejected. I don't think about those people, like those people that have actually bigger problem than me because they have to sell the house. They cannot. They're frustrated and they need help. And it's up to me to call them and offer them and tell them right things that they open up. So they have a problem, not me. Why? I'm thinking that I am uncomfortable.
Back to
I am very
importance.
important. My feelings are important.
Yes.
But what about them? They have lives, kids, all kinds of things. They have to move. That's important. Their problem is very important for that. So
And how can you help them?
Yeah.
You're there to help them. Did that answer your question a little bit? Yes. Okay, let's focus on the good stuff. So what's growth mindset? What does that mean? What does it mean?
Open to learn, go try things.
Open to learn? Ooh, who's okay with going through learning new skills and being uncomfortable? Who's okay with that? Okay, so if you are, I want you to say, yes, I'm okay with being uncomfortable. And if you're not, I want you to write it down and say, no, I'm not okay with being uncomfortable. Admit it to yourself. Admit it to yourself. And as we said, in some areas of your life, you could have a very big growth mindset. In other areas of your life, you can have a very fixed mindset. Can you think of an example for yourself right now? Think of an example for yourself where you believe you have a very, very fixed mindset and one that you have a very growth mindset. Right? There's so many categories of life. Are you fixed mindset with fitness, love, relationships, finance, career, intellectual, emotional? Be honest with yourself. I promise you, no one is looking at their sheet. Everyone's troubled trying to figure out what to write on their own sheet, let alone go over and see what your partner or the person next to you is doing. Be honest with yourself. Where do you have a fixed mindset and where do you have a growth mindset? And maybe this is your exercise of the next hour, is to figure out what is that? Because then you can find it and say, okay, I can use some growth strategies there so I can think differently. Right? So a growth mindset, let's repeat from last week, was what? Will you believe that you can keep growing into the direction of a chosen life? Who believes they can choose their life? Yes? Do we believe that our decisions, our values, our beliefs, our actions, and our habits have to all be aligned? Right? They all have to be aligned for you to make a choice. Your actions, your beliefs, your habits. All of them need to be aligned.
Need to be aligned, need to be changed.
Need to be aligned. They all have to go, they all have to lead within one road. If I want to walk down this path, just like the example we gave Adrian last week, he wants to go get some water. Well, he's not fearful about that and he's aligned. His belief is he's thirsty. His habit is that he knows how to make his legs move one in front of the other after the other. He knows that there's not going to be a saber-toothed tiger in the hallway, hopefully, that's going to stop him from going to get the water. And so he's got to be completely aligned for the fact that he's thirsty and he needs to be able to get water. Simple, but no, not so simple if we don't know how, right? So we need to have a process. What's your process? Step by step. We live in a society that's instant gratification. Now. What about some patience? Would you give yourself the skill of patience so you have the ability to learn something? Patience and belief that you will get to where you want to get to one day at a time. Give yourself time. Because impatience is not going to help. Will impatience help you? No, you're just going to get stressed out. And where are we going to get? We're not going to go get some water, right? He's going to sit on that seat and he is going to die of thirst. Because why? Qu'est-ce qui arrive quand on n'a pas de rendez-vous, ça fait un mois? Quoi d'autre arrive? You have to reflect. Qu'est-ce qu'on devrait faire? On fait la même chose over and over and over again. On n'a pas de résultat. Qu'est-ce qu'on fait? On doit changer quelque chose. And guess what? You're in an amazing environment to say, hey, I think I'm doing something wrong. Or maybe it's not wrong. I just need to align it differently. 1% little change can change everything. But if you're patient with yourself, you have the ability to say, hey, Alina, can you listen to my phone call and see, am I doing something wrong? Hey, Zimmy, if you have a minute, can you see if my IVR sounds good? Huh? Intonation, voice, rhythm. Yeah. So you have all the resources around you. Be patient and use them. That's growth mindset. Next one we spoke about last week was, what about using your life experience to help you? You guys all did something else before you got here. I'm sure you can stack up the qualities, the traits. There's so many things that you've done in a past life that you can use to help you become better at what you do now. That's the ability to take from one experience of life into the next. Maybe that's a great exercise for this week. What can I take from what I used to do or what I'm really good at to the next level of what I do today? Does that make sense? Okay. What if I were to tell you, I love this one. What if I were to tell you, if you promised yourself you would get better and better every day, that you could get better by 1% every day? Do you know what 1% compounded over a year is per day? It's 37% a year. A year. If you just did that 1% better and better every day, just one. But you need another skill set before that. Patience with self. You first need to be patient with yourself to be able to allow yourself to grow and become better and better daily to get that 1%, to get to that 37%. Are you okay with that? How many of you are okay with that? How many of you are okay with that? Yeah. Okay. about improving daily instead of fading with age? You know, that old school mentality, as you get older, you don't think as well. You are tired. You have all these bad things that happen to you with age. You can choose to say, I'm getting better and even more excellent and wiser over time with experience instead of I am fading away. Would you accept that? Some of you, I'm sure one of you, some of you are saying, no, that's not true. My knees hurt, my back, I can't walk as much.
Choose to age like a bottle of wine, or you can choose to age like some bad cottage cheese.
Like cottage cheese.
Yeah, second one doesn't smell too bad.
Oh.
Or wine gets better with time.
Wine does get better with time. But wine only gets better with time because it knows how, and it knows a good evolution, right? Will lessons help you or hold you back?
No. If you choose to let them know.
But how many times have we not allowed them to? Be conscious of them. On a career, on a love, on a emotional. How many times have you stopped yourself from being aligned to where you want to go? Why? Why would you say? Why would you say? Why would you stop yourself to get to where you want to get to?
Wired to self-destruct.
Wired for self-destruction. What else?
Opinions.
Hmm?
People's opinions.
Oh, the noise.
Yeah. the noise.
Well, don't you think some of us actually genuinely rejoice in our feelings of disappointment towards ourselves?
Yes. Why do you think?
It's a nice feeling.
It's a nice feeling to be self-disappointed.
To a certain
Sounds
extent.
weird, right?
No.
We say it and you're like, what?
If you look at it deep enough, it does give you some sense of comfort. If you do look into the depth of every negative feeling that man has. Someone's telling me to shut up.
No. I'm getting wonderful comments from Matab. She's like, I'm one hot 50-year-old chick, total bitch, a babe in total control of herself. Yeah, baby. I love Matab. Oh, sorry. It says 40.
I'm a proud 50.
Oh, it's so cute.
I earned every wrinkle and every white hair.
You have no wrinkles and you have no white hair. Blasphemy. So he's talking about the fact of being soothed by disappointment, right? So somewhere along the line, you became so comfortable with it. It started soothing you.
It's like a blanket.
Right? And so what if you were to say, I'm done with being soothed by something that disappoints me. What if I could, do you know that saying, I have to let go of the good to become great?
Yes.
I have to let go of the good to become great. So if you have to let go of the good because that's all you know, to become great is where you're aligned to go. So you'd have to be okay with letting go of disappointment. Would it be okay if you picked up the phone and somebody said yes? What? Oh, no, you have to say no first. You really own a house? A real home that I can, no, I can't come. But that's when life surprises you. Will you allow life to surprise you in a good way and let go of your disappointment? Yeah. In theory, yes. In practice, Adrian? No. So now what? What if you caught yourself every time you were going to go into the loop of disappointment and said, oh, I'm about to disappoint myself again. Why don't I just not go there? Let me go another direction. Would I be okay with that? Instead of picking up the phone and fearful of picking up the phone and getting that rejection, what if he said yes? Disrupt the pattern, because that's all it is. It's a pattern.
Why all that? Do something else. Don't prosper. get a job, work in a team. I don't know, there's so much choice. It's something, it's such a huge process, not you, I'm just saying.
Mhm.
If it bothers you to do something, maybe that's not what
I-
you should do.
I love what you just said for one reason. Because our human brain, when we want to progress, we cannot progress at 15, 20, 30, 40, 50%. Did you know that if you are asked to progress more than a 4% radiant from where you are, you will delete, I'm scared I'm moving the other direction. It's too much for your brain to take. And this is why the 1% by 1%. Patience and time is important. Because if you give your brain way too much, delete, I gotta go, I can't do this, get me out. How many of you ever even thought of that before? How many of you even thought of that before? Before you can get to making 40 transactions, you've got to do 2. If you start thinking about how you're gonna make 40 transactions, you know what happens? Delete.
But you have to
Hotwire.
decide- You have to decide first what you want. If that's what you want, there is a way of doing it. If you don't accept the way, you wanna be a wrestler, you have to train. If you don't like gym, you're not gonna become a wrestler, that's what I'm
But
saying.
what's more important, the goal or the process?
But you have to decide in your head first,
Where do you want to go?
who am I?
Yeah. But he may decide, and we're using you as an example, he may decide, yes, he wants to be a great realtor, and yes, he wants to do 40, 50 transactions a year. But his brain can't even acknowledge such a thing. So perhaps he needs to start at another step, which is maybe joining a team, or maybe as exactly what you were saying, it's because his brain can't assimilate all of that. And that's okay. Respect that. That's a growth mindset. Instead of telling yourself, I can't do this, I'm done, I picked the wrong decision, what was I thinking? How many of you goes through your head? Everybody.
Okay, another thing, I'm sorry, I'm a different immigrant, you know? When we came here, we had a bit of money and we had to decide what to do, or invest in my education, which I just graduated university in Russia, or buy the business. So my mother said, what do you want, continue study, or you want to buy business, because we'll run out of food, we'll eat this money. Rent is that, like, it seems to be a lot, but it's nothing, you know? So we decided to buy business, because the rest, it doesn't matter if I spoke French, if I was shy, it doesn't matter, it's like we have to work. So you bring your ass to work at 6 a.m., you work 12 hours and like this for 4 years, non-stop, because if not, there's nothing to eat. So, you know, that was a big goal to succeed in the restaurant business, because like everything was put like on
You
the
had no
table,
choice.
You know, you have no choice.
It was survival mode.
Yeah, so I'm saying is like after I've got the privilege to choose what I want to do and
Yes.
who I want to be, and I wanted to be a flight attendant, I became security officer in the airport instead, you know, and I was gradually going. I was
But did
working-
you hear what she just said? She took a bad situation and molded it into a great one. That's called tenacity. Taking a bad situation and making a great one. Instead of focusing on the disappointments that she wasn't necessarily living her life dream, she said, hold up, maybe this path can bring me to my life dream. Maybe this path can bring me to my life dream. Who believes in that? Thank you, Vanessa.
You have to have a dream. Let's start with a dream.
Yeah.
Do you really want to be a great real estate broker?
I think a lot of people, some people, you don't have to raise up your hand, you can just, you know, shake in your head without me knowing. Maybe some people just don't know.
Well, that's what.
And that's-
I'm saying, that's my point.
And that's the journey.
Exactly, and it doesn't happen overnight. Okay,
It doesn't,
like, how many years it took for me?
right?
It's scary to say.
But all of us, and that's okay. Right? as long as you're not falling within the loop of disappointment or bad emotions, or I can't do it, or this is not for me, or I'm stuck in a life of fixed mindset. Did you want to say something?
Long time I work over the phone for others, for a company. And with my ferry, I just discovered that there are people doing millions, doing for it, jobs. Why? You don't do that for yourself.
But you had to make the jump. You had to make the decision. Was it scary? Carole.
I know, me too, it's the same, I understand what you say because I come from a family, my family struggled, they immigrated, but they were not risk takers, so my mom was at home, my dad is a regular job, so all they wanted is go to university.
That's it, but that's the culture.
Pharmacist, yeah, the culture. So you do it for years just to save up because at some point you want to say, corporate is hell. Exactly. And how many years it was the same thing. I'm like, when am I gonna get out of it? And I feel like COVID was helping, because they gave you the courses at home. No, you don't.
So what if you made a decision?
I made the decision.
You made a decision?
Now it's like I made the decision and I just have.
So stick to it.
So everything is like.
Stick to it.
not-
I made a decision, I'm sticking to it. I will practice every single day at being and doing who I want to become. I will practice. It's gonna be boring. It's not gonna be fun. But I promise you, it's like the bamboos. Remember the bamboos from last week?
I don't know if it's a good weather.
I thought you were gonna say, I don't believe in bamboos. What were you saying? Sorry.
I try to speak.
Non, en français. Non, c'est bon.
Il faut que je pratique.
Non, mais ça va.
Je dis que on doit, malgré toutes les circonstances, les épreuves, on doit continuer à grandir. On n'en a pas le choix. Si on veut, je pense que Adrien avait dit ça, la continuité, c'est pas le travail dur, mais la continuité, la constance. Même si quand je regarde, c'est très dur. Moi, aujourd'hui, j'ai commencé vraiment à faire des appels. C'est comme ça frappe ton ego, en fait. Tu vois, ça te frappe. Mais si les autres réussissent, pourquoi pas nous?
Exactement.
Moi, je me dis ça dans ma tête, j'essaie de me répéter ça. Je parle beaucoup, au fait, mais au fait, parce que je suis stressée, que je parle beaucoup aux autres. Mais je vais essayer de mettre toute cette énergie-là d'appeler les gens.
Mais la réalité, c'est juste de parler à du monde. Le plus de monde qu'on parle, le plus qu'il y a une chance qu'on va rencontrer quelqu'un, on va parler à quelqu'un qui veut vraiment vendre sa propriété. C'est ça le point. On parle à du monde. On peut ou aller se promener dans l'auto, ou on peut aller à IGA, donner nos cartes. On doit faire quelque chose pour parler à du monde. Mais le téléphone, c'est la façon la plus vite. So it's a skill set we want to teach you guys. But you cannot get there if you don't believe you can. You have to believe you can. And maybe it's not today, maybe it's not tomorrow. But man, maybe it's, 3 Thursdays from now. Would that be okay?
Yeah, it's amazing, your trainings. I feel it's becoming AA meeting, We should share our pain and we see that other people struggle as well.
And it's true because it's at some point, when you're home alone, it's painful.
Yeah.
So think about it, right? So the minute that you start discovering something about yourself that you didn't know and you share with others, you call it an AA meeting. I haven't either, but the idea of discovering something about yourself that you didn't know and you share it with others, panique générale. Why? Why, if we learn something new and apply something new and decide to grow and change by that 1%, you're then going to be told, you're part of this culture. You're part of this AA thing. You're part of the sharing your emotions or sharing the way you feel or sharing your progress, your advancements, your dreams, your desires, where you want to go next. Why is that so shameful? It's not, right? It's not anymore. Because it used to be, right? about just authentically showing up the way you are, authentically? Like we had this conversation many times. Adrian comes to, and I'm gonna share, but I think it's okay. Adrian comes to see me one day and he's like, you know, I need to learn how to get up at 5 a.m. and I need to learn how to meditate for the 5 minutes, and I need to work out, and I need to do this, and I have to be, and
So much.
I said to Adrian, I said, okay. Do you want to do that because that's who you think you want to be? Or is it because you read it in the 5 a.m. club and you read it in Tim Ferriss's books and you read it in it because you were told that's who you had to become to be successful?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The majority of people that are successful wake up really early. Not, maybe. who's really-
Sure, but does that mean that that's Adrian's success? Imagine you wake
No,
up
no.
at 5 a.m. every day and you are unhappy about it.
Yeah.
Is that a good way to wake up? No. Is it a goal that he wants to move towards? Perhaps. Perhaps he needs to start, if he wakes up normally at 7:30, then maybe he needs to put his alarm at 7:28 and the week after 7:25, and then and he starts by 2 minutes or 3 minutes a day to progressively get to that goal, but that's not the point. He then proceeds to tell me, I hate it. And then I told him, I said, what if you authentically showed up as you first? You want to wake up at 7:30 and you want to have the most productive day in the world? Then be as productive as the most productive person in the world, but start a little bit later. Oh, but blasphemy. I can't get to be productive if I want to work out and do my meditation and do this and this and this. I can't get to the office that late. I said, so are you going to be leaving the office earlier? Are you going to be going to less listing appointments? Are you, at some point, your schedule must be yours, but don't cheat yourself. That's the idea. If you're going to cheat yourself and say, oh yeah, I can, do 300 transactions by working, 3 hours a day, you're cheating yourself.
Instead of treating yourself.
Instead of treating yourself. What if you were to enjoy your life and live in flow? Right? But you didn't cheat yourself. Yes.
But is it true, what they show you, like, okay, waking up at 5 a.m.
Sure it is.
Is it true? Because how, it's, when you look at these videos, it's always, I don't want to, it's always a man, a businessman, like, I can't even imagine myself, like.
I don't know, I got kids. I wasn't up before 5 a.m. I was up before 5 a.m. What are you talking about? I was up at 2, I was up at 4, I was up at 1, I was up at, they've got nothing on us. What are you talking about?
And the morning I wake up early, now I have a newborn. It's just a routine and I'm like 150 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
And it still takes, he
Yeah.
decides your talking
Yeah.
point. He
Yeah.
doesn't want to eat today. He
So,
doesn't want to.
What if I were to say that it's about the consistency? And I think that's what that culture is about. Being consistent. Find a time to wake up to that time. Find a time in which you're going to work out and stick to it. The only way for you to find consistency is if you have a schedule or you build yourself habits. That's what that's about. Making sure you put in the time consistently to make your phone calls, to work out. I mean, almost like an alarm going off. I must feel good now.
But I think also they allow yourself to, if today doesn't work, tomorrow I'll tell you. Just because sometimes the
You're
schedule
absolutely right.
doesn't work like this.
Yeah.
It's, you need to build a.
But then what's the most important thing to do the next day?
Try to show up.
You have to show up
Yeah.
because then you're building a new habit.
Yeah.
You're building the habit of not showing up,
And saying, oh, it's okay.
and it's okay. And then you start not showing up and not showing up and not showing up. But show up authentically to you. If you have a newborn baby and you're up 4 times, 5 times a night and your alarm goes up at 5 a.m. and it wakes up your baby, guess what? It's not the right schedule for you.
Yeah.
Show up authentically to where you are in your life. Is that okay? But as Adrian said, it's about consistency. So if he has to wake up at 5 to make it consistent, then go right ahead.
No, but that's something else, in my opinion, what they don't tell you is that the 5 a.m. type of schedule, wake up, meditate. It doesn't, so it doesn't precede performance. It comes after performance. So you'll see a CEO wake up at 5, not because he wants to, because that's the only way that he can live his day.
Fit it all in.
He needs to be in the office at 6. And because he's a CEO, he can't go to the office looking with his hair like this and, being low in energy. So the schedule precedes his needs as an individual. He wakes up, they tell you wake up, meditate, work out, do whatever, breakfast, and then get to work. And I tried it once, and then, okay, I meditated, I worked out, and then I'm like looking at my computer, and I'm like, I can't do phone calls at 6:15, so what the fuck do I do? So I went back to bed. Woke up at 10 and it ruined my day because.
Were you feeling disappointed after that decision?
No, it was pretty good. It was a pretty strong nap. Solid nap. I like
A solid nap at 6:15.
But the thing is that the schedule, it doesn't fit with most of our lives. We're not busy enough to handle a schedule like that.
That's what I was trying to say. Never have so much business to do that, you know what, I have to wake up at 5 because I have to go through all my emails, because after I have appointment at 7, blah,
Exactly.
blah, blah.
And you don't even realize it because everything flows because you're busy. But if you wake up just to follow a schedule, the schedule, in my opinion, this type of schedule really doesn't indicate high performance, or it's not a telltale sign for someone that's about to be successful.
Yeah.
It's a necessity for someone that has a busy way of life. And I think it's screwed up a whole bunch of young people. This
Exactly.
hustle culture,
And
It's,
you watched the video already?
I saw something.
I guess it's him and Carol.
I saw something else that was crazy.
Nothing to do with his life.
Talking about a guy, this guy just posted a little text. He said, that's the way he expressed it, but we're all inclusive, so it's dudes and dudettes, so girls and boys. Dudes will literally set up an offshore LLC, hire an accountant, hire a lawyer, hire a banker, open 3 bank accounts, get a bank loan, instead of just doing sales calls. Just to avoid doing what's really important to the business, because we live in a hustle culture where the appearance of it is all that matters instead of the actual backbone. There's no backbone.
So how's the backbone, guys?
Sucks.
I'm asking everybody, how's your backbone?
Sucks.
All right.
That's the hardest part, because after, like, it's the call, because once you have the appointment, like for me, it's easy to go do the appointment.
Yeah, but wait a second. You're saying it's difficult to make the call, but the listing appointment is easy
Well,
to
it's
go
more, I'm
on.
more- let's say it's more comfortable, it's the first step. that
The
you
initial
do.
every single time.
No, but back in.
And so you know what I used to do? I used to just be a bang, 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 one appointment, bang, 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 another appointment, bang, 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 another appointment. Let's get it out of the way. I'm not saying that's a better technique, but I know that I would go through my contacts and I would get some meetings and I would go into them, and so
Well, it's good because you get over it.
you get over it. So now I want to play a game with everyone. Ready to play a game? All right, so I'm gonna name different categories of life, okay? And you are gonna play the honesty game with yourself. And you're gonna put a little F for fixed mindset and G for growth mindset. And every single time I name a category of life, you're gonna put a little check mark on where you think you are. Okay? So we are gonna start with what's an easy one to start with? Let's start with health. Health. So when it comes to your health and fitness, do you believe that you have a fixed mindset about your health? So think about it. If you want to sit in no man's land, okay, you can't sit in no man's land for every category. Okay. Oh, c'était un gros soupir, ça. Did you hear? In health and fitness, would you consider yourself that you think in a fixed mindset or in a growth mindset? Okay. What about in your emotional life? Example? I think the way I think, I feel the way I feel, and no one's going to change the way I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, I have those.
Yeah.
That's what goes my.
Right? My emotions are my emotions. You're going to leave me alone now. Or you see yourself and say, oh, I'm angry today. How so? Why? What happened? What brought me to the point that I am feeling angry right now? Or,
Waking up.
why am I feeling so grateful right now?
I woke up.
It makes me grateful to come to the office and see all of you. That makes me feel grateful. So now you've identified it. Okay, is that a good example for you guys to? All right. Next, your character. Your character. I am who I am because life made me this way. Yeah. And if life doesn't make me that way, that's who I am. Oh.
Well, it's because like I, became a person because of all the experiences, but I became like a better person because of it.
Right?
It's like,
So what if I told you character is all you can define your own character?
Yeah.
Instead of saying life has defined my character for me. Which one is it? Right? Which one is it? Did life decide what character you would have? Life gives you situations. The way you pan out of those situations and what you come out with is your character.
Les situations nous ont fait grandir avec tout ce passé. Avec toutes les épreuves qu'on a passées, on voit qu'on a grandi.
Oui, c'est un très bon exemple. Ou tu peux retourner et dire, après d'avoir 2 enfants, j'ai plus de patience. À la place de dire que mes enfants m'ont appris comment avoir plus de patience parce que je me réveille à 11h30, 1h30, 3h30, 5h, 5h30, 7h.
Ce que j'en viens enfin, je sais pas comment dire ça, mais
De vie.
de passer dedans.
Bien sûr.
Les deux, j'ai 3 enfants, mais les 2 petits, ils me lèvent à minuit, à 11h, à minuit, à 2h30 du matin. Je dors jamais.
But think about it. You have to be honest with yourself when you wake up and you hear that cry. Are you going in saying, I can't believe you woke me up again?
No.
Or are you going out, oh, bébé d'amour, qu'est-ce qui se passe?
And then you feel you're happy,
So be honest with yourself. That's all I'm asking you. Because whatever you decide to be is what you're bringing with you. What character are you choosing to become? Or maybe you're not even choosing. Next one. Intellectual. Intellectual. I know what I know and that's enough. Or is it, I am a student of life?
Can they put all their hands up, please, that they're fixed?
What?
Can they put all their hands up that they're fixed?
When it comes to intellectual. That what you, next time, you know what? I'm going to do the flip camera so you can see everybody in the room as well.
Hands up.
Hands up. Everybody hands up. Mataba wants everybody's hand to be up when it comes to intellectual, because you know what? How many are we really the students of life? Right?
Lequel qui est fixe, lequel qui est gros.
Ben, pense-y. Si tu dis qu'est-ce que je connais, c'est tout qu'est-ce que je connais, c'est fixe. Mais si tu dis je suis une étudiante de la vie, tu apprends à chaque jour. Right? Et la minute que tu commences à dire moi je connais plus que cette personne, moi je sais plus, that's also fixed mindset. Instead of saying, tell me more about what you think and try to understand more of what the other person thinks without saying, I know better. No, please, let's talk. Tell me, what can you teach me? Let me be your student. Tu vois la différence entre les deux? Right? To the mothers in the room, right? or your mothers, or bless you, or your mothers-in-laws always tell you the same thing. Well, you should do it like this. I don't want anybody's opinion. How many times have you so many people that told you their opinion that you're done? No more opinion time. I'm closed for opinions.
I mean, it's free. So.
Yes. All right, so there's that. What about spirituality? And spirituality you can mean it from religion to meditation to believing in the sun.
So what's fixed and what's growth and spiritual?
What I believe is what I believe, and what was given to me is the right. And I'm going to sit here and tell you that you should not believe in the sun.
Okay.
That is fixed.
Pretty good.
The minute that you tell yourself that what you know is bigger and more important than what others, then you're sitting more on the fixed. Mhm.
Ben, si par exemple tu crois ça, mais tu peux comprendre les autres avec leur religion. Ben, si toi tu crois, tu sais que moi je crois comme ça,
Oui,
ben, les autres sont libres de penser qu'ils veulent.
exactement. Non, ça c'est gros. La minute que tu essaies de convaincre quelqu'un d'autre d'être quelque chose qui ne sont pas, c'est aussi fixe. Bon-y. You know, too many people out there don't stick in their own lane. Right? Everybody wants to give you your opinion. Everybody has advice for you. And as he said, it's free. What if everybody were to stick in their own lane? When you go on social media, guess what? You're not sticking in your own lane. You're going to see what everybody else is doing in their own lane. Stick to your own lane, man. If people were to focus more on going out and getting their growth mindset and intellectually to be able to grow their minds or grow their children or find patients or make more sales calls, whatever it is, stick to your own lane. Stick what matters to you. Why are you always busy looking and snooping at what your neighbor is doing? That's the society we live in. Stop looking at what others are doing. Spend time focusing on you. Imagine if everybody just focused on themselves and making themselves a better human being as far as growth mindset, for instance, or how they feel, or the character they want to become, or who they identify, or their skill set. Would we fall within a labor shortage of a whole bunch of people that have absolutely no skill set? No, because everybody's too busy looking what the neighbor's doing, and then the neighbor's looking at what the other neighbor's doing, and all of a sudden everyone's looking at everybody else, and no one's doing actually anything.
It's a whole bunch of fun though.
Sure, not my type of fun. What about social? Do you have a specific growth mindset when it comes to social? Are you fixed?
As in meeting new people.
As in meeting new people? Mhm.
Like that, the triple F.
Fixed.
Or
Open to hearing other people's opinion, open to hearing other people's way of living. Are you open to understanding or accepting friends that may not think the way you do? Would that be okay?
Friends, yes, but other people not really understand what they think and how they live out on that. Is it fixed?
Well, think about it, right? So now you're saying, I want to stick to my lane. I want to stick to my lane, and I am not going to spend my time looking to other people's. But I'm interested in what you do. I'm not going to spend my day looking at what others are doing, but I'm sitting with you and you interest me. Let me know more about you.
That's rare. That happens.
It is rare, right? People are too busy watching, judging, talking about themselves instead of talking about you or your life experience or how what got over a specific hump in your life, right?
But if there's something to talk about, let's say if I'm talking to someone doing something simple and I'm talking to the owner of a CEO of Bank of Canada.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm interested how it got there. If I'm talking to a broker who does 300 transactions, yes, I'm interested. When you're talking to people who did something that interests me, maybe not real estate, but something else, then it's interesting. But if I'm talking to, I don't know, I don't want to sound an asshole, but like someone who fixes the cracks, like how did you get this job? I need the job. like, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
So think about it, right? So you're looking for every, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're looking to get some sort of value through every interaction you have in your life.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that's your fundamental and you're gonna speak to someone where you actually maybe gave them a chance to talk to you, but what you're getting back does not fit within the values that you have, that's not fixed. That's growth. Because you made a judgment. You made a judgment right there. The guy who fixed the cracks,
Okay, that example.
that's a generalization.
Okay, I had a job in airport,
Hmm.
Security. And the job is very repetitive, you know, you have the pattern, you have to follow certain rules. And here I am having like business at 21, working in downtown Montreal, making good money, sold it, thanks God, I don't want any responsibility, I want a job. The fixed schedule, I want a job, so I have to days over. So I get the job, and here what I hear, and they're absolutely cool guys,
Mm.
absolutely cool people, extremely down to earth, all nationalities you can imagine. Fun, job is fun, there are plenty of people, first year is fun, second year, third year, okay, wait. So everything we talk about, and we work in a team of 8, pretty much every schedule that changes every half a year. So you like with 8 people all the time, you know? Everything we talk about is food, or what I ate for dinner, what is it for lunch, and how I pay my bills. Or you know what, I'll do overtime, and because I, you know, last week, or I want to go like on vacation, like twice this year instead of once. And I'm just feeling like, that's not interesting. I don't belong here. That's not interesting. I don't want to have life like this,
But I think.
where it's like,
You,
job paying
yeah,
you
but
for
you were
food,
open,
you
you
know?
understand, and then you realize
You
you
made
don't
a
have much
decision.
in common, so it's okay to
you.
move
So
on.
you made a decision, you guys. You made a decision. The idea is that you were open to begin with. You didn't you didn't judge. Oh, this person knows nothing.
You want to
Because
grow
just
like this. I don't want to be like this, because I was becoming like this.
Uh-huh.
I was
And
planning my life according to my
And
salary.
thank
That's
you,
all.
and thank you
No.
for even talking like that, because do you want to spend time with people that inspire you, that do things that you think are incredible, that talk about ideas, that talk about things that you want to do, things you want to become, or do you want to hang out with people that talk about fixed schedules, their lunch, and paying their bills? The conversation goes from fixed mindset to growth mindset right there. People that talk about ideas, concepts, it's growth mindset. People that talk about people is fixed. Because you know what? If you have nothing else to do than to look at other people's links, guess what? Is that the most productive thing, or the best thing you can do for you, or the thing that gives you the most joy? No. So consciously see. The next one is family. You have a fixed mindset on what family is for you. And family is different than parenting.
Wasn't the split then, because you're on family?
I don't know, you tell me.
As in, what's a fixed, how is a fixed view bad when it comes to family?
Well, think about it, right? So every time I see my family, it has to be Saturday at 10 o'clock and we have to eat this,
Okay.
right? Or my family is only my mother, my father, my sister, my brother. I will not include anybody else.
Oh, yeah.
What about your cousin?
Can you leave it for a while? I mean,
So,
Mes amis, même mes amis viennent en famille, là, parce que si quand quelqu'un, il va venir à ma famille.
wait,
C'est comme ça.
so write it down. What about parenting for the people that are parents? Do I need to bring them up in the specific way in which I was told?
no,
And they have to, imagine if they don't like it. Do you have the ability to pivot quickly and not parent them the way you want to parent them? And that you parent them the way they need to be parented? That's a really tough one. Okay, guys, there's 2 more. Your life vision. Are you fixed on what that life vision and will not accept even something even better if it came your way? Or do you believe that whatever growth that you have, that life has your back and you will get there? And last but not least, the quality of your life, the quality of the days you spend. Are you always upgrading the quality of your life, the quality of your thoughts, the quality of your person? Or are you saying, I am fixed in the quality of the life I live? Guys, it looks like I'm going a little bit over time. I'm 1:58. I want to leave time for questions. Any questions, guys? And I want you guys to really, really focus on this, because next week we're going to take this list, we're going to look at it, and I'm going to ask you guys different types of questions about them. Right? And see, how do they affect your life? How can you better your life with a growth mindset? How can you achieve your goals through the eyes of somebody who's looking at it through growth mindset? Any questions? Any questions online? Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, guys online. Thanks, guys.